Hi, today we are going to explore Grafton Street. If you are in Dublin, must visit this beautiful street. You will see the famous brands here, including Thomas Brown. Grafton Street, Ireland's main shopping boulevard. Started as a small, medieval cattle track that wound alongside the east bank of the Stein, the river that now flows underground between St. Stephen's Green and Trinity College. Historical perspectives of Grafton Street is that the street was developed from an existing country lane, connecting College Green to St. Stephen's Green, which had been worked on by the Dawson family, after whom the parallel Dawson Street is named. It was developed and widened through the early 1700s, starting in 1708. 4 years later, the city's governing body, Dublin Corporation, approved development along the street in order to make a crown causeway. Its line was shaped by the short culverted River Stein, which rises on one side of St. Stephen's Green and flows towards College Green and the Liffey-near O'Connell Bridge. Development was largely complete by 1727. From the beginning, the street held a mixture of residential and commercial development. Advertisements from the 1750s and 1760s describe first floor apartments featuring a dining room, bedchamber and closet. The theater manager, Louis Duval, lived in Grafton Street in 1733, as did the novelist Charles Robert Maturin's family. The street was largely rebuilt in the late 1700s, following the completion of O'Connell Bridge in 1758, spanning the River Liffey. When Grafton Street came to form part of an important north-south thoroughfare, by the latter part of the 19th century, the street was primarily commercial in nature. Throughout the 19th century, Grafton Street became increasingly dilapidated. By 1849, several buildings had broken windows that were patched up with paper. In 1862, the Dublin builder said the street abounds in old premises in need of doctoring up. During the late 19th century, a number of retail properties were built and several long-standing businesses established their presence on the street, such as the department stores Switzer's and Brown Thomas. The jewelers Weir's opened in 1869. The street became known for prostitution during this time. In the 1870s, 1,500 prostitutes were reputed to work the street. This was part of a broader phenomenon in 1870. There were 3,255 arrests for prostitution in Dublin, compared to 2,183 in London and 1,617 in Manchester. Despite complaints that the street was impassable to virtuous women, Dublin tourist guides continued to mention it as a fashionable place to visit. By the turn of the 20th century, prostitution had moved to the Montgomery Street Montauk area on the northern side of the city, somewhat allowing Grafton Street's reputation to recover. In 1911, King George V and Queen Mary were led in a procession down Grafton Street, which attracted thousands of onlookers. The American chain, Woolworths, opened a store on the street in 1914.